Quirky Girl Next Door. An alphabet sweethearts romance. Written by Susanne Ash. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 1. Felicity. The secret to a perfect wildflower garden I've discovered is organized chaos, which is probably why I'm currently buried elbow-deep in black soil, my curly hair escaping its messy bun in 17 different directions, debating whether the purple cosmos should go next to the orange marigolds or if that's too much of a good thing. What do you think, Beatrice? I call over my shoulder to my favorite rescue hen, who's supposed to be safely contained in her coop but is instead perched on my garden fence like a feathered supervisor. Too bold or just bold enough? Beatrice clucks once, which I choose to interpret as encouragement. She's a wise old girl. A buff Orpington with more personality than most people I know and opinions about everything from my plant choices to my questionable habit of talking to myself while I work. The rumble of a large truck engine makes me look up from the cosmos seeds scattered across my palm. A moving truck is parked in the driveway next door, and I can see a tall man directing the movers as they carry boxes and furniture into the house. My heart does a little skip of excitement. New neighbors. I've been living in this cottage for 2 years now, and the house next door has been empty since Mrs. Grant passed away last spring. Sweet Margaret Grant had been my first real friend in Juniper Falls. I used to bring her tomatoes from my garden, and she'd make me tea while we sat on her porch, listening to her stories about the town in the old days. She always said the house would find the right family when it was ready. "This is so exciting, Beatrice," I whisper, brushing soil from my hands. Maybe they'll have kids who want to learn about chickens, or an indignant squawk interrupts my thoughts. I whip around to find Beatrice's usual perch on the garden fence empty. Oh no! Beatrice, predictably, is nowhere to be seen. I scramble to my feet, my chicken print apron tangling around my legs as I scan the yard. There! A flash of buff-colored feathers disappearing around the side of my house, heading straight for the moving truck. Beatrice, no! I call, taking off after her. "Come back here, you escape artist." But Beatrice has spotted the truck and is clearly fascinated. By the time I round the corner of my house, she's pecking around the newcomer's driveway with the confidence of a property inspector, occasionally pausing to eye the moving men with deep suspicion. I'm halfway across the yard, apron strings flying behind me like ribbons, when the truck's passenger door opens. A man steps out, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a gray t-shirt and jeans that have seen better days. His light brown hair is mussed like he's been running his hands through it, and when he spots Beatrice pecking at his tire, his expression shifts from mild confusion to something approaching panic. "Sir," I call breathlessly, waving my dirt-covered hands. "Don't worry, she's friendly. She's just..." The man takes a cautious step toward Beatrice, who immediately begins a lecture in rapid-fire chicken language about the inferior quality of his driveway gravel. He stops, looking between her and me like he's trying to solve a puzzle he didn't know existed. "She's, He clears his throat, his voice deep and uncertain. "She's yours?" "Yes. Sorry, so sorry." I skid to a stop a few feet away, suddenly aware that I'm covered in soil, my hair is doing things that defy physics, and I'm breathing like I just ran a marathon. Beatrice is usually better behaved, but she has strong opinions about large vehicles. He blinks at me. "Beatrice?" "The chicken," I clarify, gesturing toward my wayward hen, who has now moved on to investigating a fallen leaf with the intensity of a detective. She's named after Beatrice from Much Ado About Nothing. Very opinionated, that one. Something that might be amusement flickers across his features, but it's gone so quickly I might have imagined it. He crouches down slowly, extending his hand toward Beatrice the way you might approach a particularly volatile cat. "Hey there, Beatrice," he says quietly. "What do you think you're doing over here?" And somehow Beatrice actually responds to him. She stops her gravel inspection and tilts her head, considering him with one bright eye before taking a tentative step closer. I watch in amazement as this serious-faced stranger somehow manages to scoop up my escape artist chicken without getting pecked, bitten, or lectured. Beatrice settles into his arms like she's found exactly where she belongs, making soft, contented noises that she usually reserves for treats and sunny afternoon naps. "Well," I breathe. Wow. She doesn't usually like strangers. He straightens, holding Beatrice carefully against his chest. Up close, I can see his eyes are hazel, serious, and watchful, and there's something about the way he holds my chicken that makes my stomach do an odd little flip. "Is she hurt?" he asks, running one finger along Beatrice's feathers with surprising tenderness. "No, just curious. And possibly plotting her next great escape." I tuck a loose curl behind my ear, leaving what I suspect is a streak of dirt across my cheek. I'm Felicity, by the way. Felicity Bloom. I live next door, obviously. Dean. He shifts Beatrice to one arm and extends his hand. Dean Grant. Grant. Like Mrs. Grant. "Oh, you must be Margaret's nephew," he confirms, shaking my hand briefly. His palm is calloused and warm, and I try not to notice how it dwarfs mine. "She left me the house." "Mrs. Grant was wonderful," I say softly. "I'm so sorry for your loss, but I'm glad someone's moving in. The house has been waiting for a family." Something shudders in his expression at the word family, and he takes a small step back. "It's just me and my daughter." As if summoned by his words, a young girl appears in the doorway of the house. She has straight brown hair pulled back in a ponytail and the same hazel eyes as her father, though hers are bright with curiosity rather than caution. "Dad," she calls. "What's that?" Dean looks down at Beatrice, who has apparently decided his arm makes an excellent perch and shows no signs of moving. "It's a chicken, Lily. Apparently, she belongs to our neighbor." Lily's face lights up like Christmas morning. "A real chicken. Can I pet her?" Before I can answer, Beatrice lets out a pleased cluck and cranes her neck toward the little girl, clearly as charmed by Lily as Lily is by her. "She'd love that," I say, smiling at the wonder on Lily's face. "She's very social. Sometimes I think she believes she's a dog." Dean carefully transfers Beatrice to my arms, and I'm suddenly aware of how close we're standing. He smells like cedar and something clean and masculine that makes me want to lean closer. Instead, I step back and focus on settling my contrary hen, who is now eyeing the moving truck like she's considering another adventure. "I should get her home before she decides to redecorate your moving boxes," I say, aiming for light and breezy and probably missing by several zip codes. "Thank you for catching her, and welcome to Juniper Falls. If you need anything, I'm right next door." "Thank you," Dean says formally, but there's something in his voice that sounds almost wistful. I'm halfway across the yard when I hear Lily ask, "Dad, can we get chickens too?" I don't hear his answer, but something tells me it's not the enthusiastic yes his daughter is hoping for. The next morning, I'm standing on Dean Grant's front porch with a plate of warm chocolate chip cookies and what I hope passes for neighborly confidence. I've chosen my favorite sunflower yellow sundress and my daisy print apron, the one that makes me feel like I stepped out of a children's book illustration. I knock 3 times and Dean appears in the doorway. He's changed into a clean flannel shirt, though his hair still has that slightly rumpled look. When he sees me with my cookie plate, he looks surprised. "Hi," I say brightly. "I thought you and Lily might be hungry after all that moving. These are my grandmother's chocolate chip cookies. The secret is brown butter and sea salt." He looks at the cookies like they might contain some sort of hidden agenda. "That's kind of you. Just a little welcome to the neighborhood gesture." I'm babbling now, filling the silence. "I figured you probably haven't had time to find the grocery store yet, and thank you." He takes the plate, careful not to let our fingers brush. "I'll make sure to return your dish." "Oh, no rush at all. So, how are you settling in?" "It's fine. We're managing." The deflation hits me like a slow leak in a balloon. His response is polite but distant, the kind that doesn't invite follow-up questions. I'd hoped the man who'd been so gentle with Beatrice would be a little warmer with me too. "Right," I say, forcing my smile to stay bright. "Well, if you need anything, Dad." I hear Lily call from somewhere inside the house. "Can I go outside and see the chickens again?" Dean's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "We've got boxes to unpack, Lily." But Lily appears beside him anyway, slipping under his arm. She's wearing sparkly unicorn leggings and has a smudge of peanut butter on her cheek. "Hi," she says, looking up at me with eyes much more open than her father's. "Are those the chickens making all that noise?" I glance toward my backyard where Beatrice is holding court with my other hens in what sounds like an animated discussion. "That would be them. Beatrice is probably telling everyone about her great adventure. I crouched down to Lily's level. Would you like to meet them properly? I was just about to give them their afternoon treats. Can I, Dad? Please. Dean looks between his daughter and me, weighing something. Finally, he nods. Just for a few minutes. We make our way to my robin's egg blue chicken coop. The four hens come rushing over, clearly hoping for treats. This is Hermione, Scout, Jane Eyre, and you've met Beatrice, I say, pulling mealworms from my apron pocket. Lily presses her face against the wire mesh. Of course, all literary ladies. I scatter the treats, and Beatrice immediately begins organizing the pecking order with authoritative clucks. Beatrice thinks she's in charge of everyone. Does she always act like that? Lily asks, watching Beatrice organize the other hens. I laugh. She thinks she's a tiny feathered general. Lily giggles. The sound is so bright it makes my heart squeeze. She acts like my mom used to when she was cooking dinner, always telling everyone where to go. The words hang in the air, and I see Dean's expression tighten. Your mom sounds like she was a good organizer, I say gently. She was. I miss her sometimes, especially when we move to new places. Moving can be scary. Are you starting at a new school here? Lily nods, her excitement dimming. Next week. I don't know anyone yet. Well, you know me now. And I teach art classes at the community center on Saturday mornings. Maybe you'd like to join us sometime. Really? Dad, can I? Dean looks between us, considering. We'll see. I should let you get back to unpacking, I say, but you're both welcome to visit the girls anytime. Thank you, Dean says, and this time there's genuine warmth in his voice. This was nice. As they head back, I hear Lily chattering about the chickens. At the porch steps, she turns to wave, and I wave back. Dean pauses too, and when our eyes meet, I think I see gratitude in his expression. Maybe neighborly friendship isn't completely off the table after all.
Chapter 2. Dean. The house still smells like Aunt Margaret. Lavender and vanilla, with the faintest hint of the peppermint tea she used to drink every evening. I've been here 3 days, and I can't decide if that's comforting or heartbreaking. Maybe both. I stand in the middle of what used to be her living room, now a maze of cardboard boxes labeled in Lily's careful 9-year-old handwriting. Books, Dad's boring stuff, and my personal favorite, things that might be important but probably aren't. She's nothing if not honest. Through the front window, I can see straight into Felicity Bloom's yard, which looks like a crayon box exploded in the most wonderful way possible. Her garden is a riot of color. Sunflowers tower over what might be tomatoes, morning glories climb up a trellis that appears to be made from old fence posts, and flowers I can't even name are scattered throughout like someone threw handfuls of seeds and hoped for the best. It's beautiful. It's also completely chaotic, and chaos is the last thing I need right now. Dad. Lily appears in the doorway, holding a box that's nearly as big as she is. Where should I put my art supplies? Let's set up the spare bedroom as your art room, I say, taking the box from her before she drops it. Aunt Margaret always said the light was best in there. Lily's face lights up like I've just offered her the moon. Really? My own art room? Really? I ruffle her hair, noting how it's already escaping the ponytail I attempted this morning. Amy always made it look so easy, the way she could twist Lily's hair into perfect braids or smooth buns. I'm still figuring out the basics. You'll need somewhere to do homework and work on your projects. She bounces on her toes, then stops suddenly, her expression growing thoughtful. Do you think Felicity would want to see my drawings? She said she teaches art. There it is again. Felicity. In the 3 days since we've been here, Lily has managed to work our neighbor into approximately 70% of our conversations. Felicity this, Felicity that. Felicity's chickens have the funniest personalities. Felicity said I could visit them anytime. I should probably be concerned about how quickly Lily's attached herself to a virtual stranger. That's what the responsible, protective part of my brain keeps telling me. But the truth is, I haven't seen Lily this animated about anything in months. Not since we left the last town. Not since I made the decision to uproot our carefully structured life and move us here. Maybe, I say carefully, once we're more settled. Lily nods, apparently satisfied with that non-answer, and skips off toward what will become her art room. I watch her go, marveling at her resilience. At 9, she's already lived in 4 different towns, adapted to 3 different schools, and handled more change than most adults manage in a lifetime. She deserves stability. She deserves a place where she can put down roots and not worry about having to pull them up again. That's why we're here. That's why I left my job with the city fire department and took this position as a safety inspector for Juniper Falls and the surrounding county. Fewer emergencies, regular hours, and a quiet mountain town where nothing much happens. A loud squawk from next door draws my attention back to the window. Felicity is in her garden again, this time wearing what appears to be overalls covered in paint splatters and a wide-brimmed hat that's seen better days. She's got a basket in one hand and seems to be having an animated conversation with the brown chicken. Beatrice, Lily informed me yesterday, named after some character from Shakespeare. As I watch, Beatrice hops onto the edge of the basket and proceeds to inspect whatever Felicity has collected, apparently finding it lacking because she immediately hops out and stalks off with what I can only describe as offended dignity. Felicity throws back her head and laughs, a sound that carries across the yard and through my open window. It's infectious, that laugh. Genuine and full of joy, the kind of laugh that makes you want to smile even when you don't know what's funny. I step back from the window before she can catch me watching. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Felicity Bloom is a lot. She's bright colors and spontaneous laughter and chickens with opinions. She's everything that represents the kind of beautiful chaos I've spent the last 5 years trying to protect Lily from. But Lily likes her, more than likes her. Lily lights up when she talks about her, the same way she used to light up when Amy would come home from work with stories about her kindergarten students. My phone buzzes, interrupting my thoughts. Text message from my new supervisor reminding me about this week's inspection schedule. Highland Hollow Pumpkin Patch on Wednesday, Novel Sips on Friday. Standard safety checks for local businesses. Nothing too complicated, nothing that should keep me away from Lily for more than a few hours at a time. It's perfect, really. Predictable, safe. Another squawk from next door, followed by what sounds like Felicity saying, "Beatrice, you cannot critique my vegetable choices. You're a chicken." I find myself almost smiling before I catch myself. No, absolutely not. Felicity Bloom might be charming in her own chaotic way, but I didn't move here to get tangled up in someone else's complicated life. I moved here to give Lily stability, to create a quiet, peaceful environment where she can heal and grow without the constant disruption of my unpredictable schedule. The last thing either of us needs is to get attached to our neighbor with her rescue chickens and paint-splattered overalls and laugh that makes the whole world seem brighter, even if Lily does ask about her every 5 minutes. Even if I keep finding myself looking out the window whenever I hear her voice. "Dad," Lily calls from upstairs. "Can you help me move this desk?" "Coming," I call back, turning away from the window with more determination than the situation probably requires. I have boxes to unpack, a house to organize, and a new job to prepare for. I don't have time to think about bright-eyed neighbors who name their chickens after literary characters. I'm hanging pictures in the hallway when I hear Lily's laughter drifting through the open front door. It's been 20 minutes since she asked if she could go look at the chickens for a second, and given that Lily's concept of time is somewhat fluid, I should probably check on her. What I find when I step onto the porch stops me in my tracks. Lily is sitting cross-legged on a paint-splattered tarp in Felicity's front yard, carefully painting tiny flowers on a terracotta pot. Her tongue is poking out in concentration, and there's a streak of yellow paint across her cheek. Felicity sits beside her, working on her own pot with the kind of focused attention I usually associate with skilled craftsmen. And Beatrice, who has clearly escaped again, is stalking around the edge of the tarp like a feathered art critic, occasionally lunging at paintbrushes with surgical precision. "Beatrice, those are not chicken toys," Felicity says without looking up, gently redirecting the hand away from Lily's palette. "We've discussed this." "How did she get out this time?" Lily asks, adding a careful green stem to her flower. "She's very resourceful. I think she's figured out how to work the latch, though I haven't caught her in the act yet." Felicity glances up at her chicken with fond exasperation. She's also supposed to be setting an example for the other girls, but instead she's teaching them bad habits. "I should go over there. I should collect my daughter and bring her home before she gets too attached." before this becomes a daily occurrence, before Felicity starts to feel obligated to entertain someone else's kid. But Lily is laughing again, this time at Beatrice's attempt to steal an entire paintbrush, and something in my chest tightens. I haven't heard her laugh this much since before Amy died. Is painting always this complicated? Lily asks, holding up her pot for inspection. Only when you have a chicken supervisor, Felicity replies. But Beatrice takes her job very seriously. She's actually a therapy chicken, you know. Really? Lily's eyes go wide. What kind of therapy? The very best kind. She listens to problems without judging, provides excellent cuddles, and has strong opinions about everything, which can be surprisingly helpful when you need someone to validate your feelings. Lily considers this with the gravity of someone weighing important information, like if someone was feeling sad about starting a new school. Exactly like that. Felicity sets down her brush and gives Lily her full attention. Are you feeling sad about starting school? A little. Lily's voice gets smaller. At my last school, some of the girls wouldn't let me sit with them at lunch. They said I was weird because I like to draw animals instead of people. The familiar surge of protective anger hits me square in the chest. I want to march over there and fix this somehow, the way I used to be able to fix her scraped knees and hurt feelings with Band-Aids and ice cream. But those days are gone, and some hurts are too big for simple solutions. Well, Felicity says thoughtfully, those girls were missing out. Anyone who can draw animals the way you do is pretty special. And you know what? I bet there are other kids at your new school who love to draw animals too. You really think so? I know so. And you know what? When you come to my art classes at the community center, you'll meet lots of kids who love drawing animals just like you do. We can practice together and build up your confidence before school starts. Lily's face brightens like someone just lit a candle inside her. Could we? Dad said we'll see about the art classes, but he hasn't decided yet. Felicity glances toward the house, and I realize she spotted me standing on the porch. Our eyes meet for a brief moment before I step back into the shadows of the doorway, suddenly feeling like I'm eavesdropping on something private. Well, the offer stands whenever you're ready, Felicity says gently. In the meantime, Beatrice and I are always here if you need someone to talk to about school stuff. She's an excellent listener. As if on cue, Beatrice abandons her paintbrush investigation and settles next to Lily's leg, making soft, contented chicken noises. See? Felicity grins. She approves of you. That's high praise coming from Beatrice. I watch my daughter carefully stroke the hen's feathers, her earlier sadness replaced by wonder. There's something magical about the scene. The afternoon sunlight filters through the oak tree, the bright colors scatter across the tarp. And then there's the patient way Felicity guides Lily through painting techniques while keeping up a steady stream of encouraging chatter. It's exactly the kind of beautiful chaos I've been trying to avoid, and exactly what Lily needs. That realization should probably terrify me. Instead, it just makes me feel tired. I should probably go help Dad, Lily says eventually, though she makes no move to get up. Of course. But your pot needs to dry anyway, so maybe Beatrice and I could keep an eye on it for you? Would you? That would be perfect. Lily scrambles to her feet, carefully stepping around the wet paint. Thank you for letting me help. This was really fun. Any time, kiddo. Really. Lily bounds toward the house, practically glowing with happiness. She stops at the porch steps when she sees me. Dad, did you see? I painted a flower pot. Felicity said I have good color instincts, whatever that means, but it sounds important. It sounds very important, I agree, following her inside. Through the window, I can see Felicity carefully moving both pots to a sunny spot to dry, Beatrice supervising the entire process with the focus of a quality control manager. She's really nice, Lily continues, plopping down on the couch. And Beatrice is basically like having a therapist, except she's a chicken and she doesn't charge money. Despite everything, I almost smile at that. Is that so? Felicity explained it to me. Sometimes talking to animals helps you figure out your feelings because they don't judge you or tell you what to do, they just listen. Lily pauses, picking at a paint stain on her shirt. I told her about the girls at my old school. The ones who said I was weird. The anger flares again, swift and protective. Lily, you're not. I know, Dad. That's what Felicity said too. She said those girls were missing out on being friends with someone special. Lily looks up at me with Amy's eyes, serious and hopeful. Do you think she's right? That there might be kids at the new school who like the same things I do? I sit down beside her on the couch, pulling her close. I think Felicity is very smart, and I think any kid would be lucky to have you as a friend. Lily leans against my shoulder, and for a moment we just sit there in comfortable silence. Outside, I can hear Felicity talking to her chickens, something about proper paint drying supervision and the importance of not tracking mud on the tarp. Dad, Lily's voice is muffled against my shirt. Yeah? I like it here. It feels quieter, but not the sad kind of quiet. The good kind. I tighten my arms around her, understanding exactly what she means. For the first time in 5 years, we're somewhere that feels like it could become home, even if that possibility scares me more than I care to admit.
Chapter 3. Felicity. Felicity, dear, I have a proposition for you. I look up from my easel where I've been staring at the same drawing for 20 minutes. The children's book I'm illustrating has a deadline looming, but my creative well feels completely dry today. Hazel Elliott stands at my garden gate, wearing a lavender cardigan and carrying a clipboard, which usually means she's about to recruit someone for something wonderfully chaotic. What kind of proposition? I ask, setting down my paintbrush. The Labor Day picnic needs someone to run an art station for the children, something fun that won't drive parents to distraction. Her eyes twinkle. I immediately thought of you. My heart skips with excitement. Really? You want me to do an art station? Who better? You're wonderful with children, and you have that gift for making everyone feel included. She glances toward my chicken coop. Plus, I suspect your girls would make excellent assistants. I'm already mentally planning activities. What kind of space? How many kids? Tables under the pavilion, 30 to 40 children throughout the day. Nothing too fancy. Hazel pauses, studying my face. Though knowing you, it'll be anything but ordinary. I'd love to do it, I say, grinning. Wonderful. I don't suppose you could recruit any helpers? Perhaps a certain 9-year-old assistant? I glance toward Dean's house where Lily is visible through her bedroom window. I could ask. She's incredibly artistic. Perfect. Community involvement is so important for newcomers. Hazel's tone is casual but deliberately innocent. Speaking of which, how are the grants settling in? Fine, I think. Lily's been helping me with projects, and Dean seems cautious. But nice. Too much caution can keep us from the very things we need most. She adjusts her purse. Well, I should let you get back to work. After she leaves, I hear a familiar voice calling my name. Felicity, can I come help with whatever you're doing? Lily appears at the gate, practically bouncing with energy in paint-splattered jeans and a t-shirt reading, "Art is my superpower." Perfect timing, I say, opening the gate. I just got recruited to run an art station at the Labor Day picnic, and I could use an assistant coordinator. Really? Like an official assistant? Her eyes go wide. The most official kind. We'll need signs, activity planning, supply testing. I gesture toward my art-covered porch. Fair warning. Beatrice will probably supervise everything. As if summoned, Beatrice appears, having escaped again. She surveys the scene with the critical eye of a project manager. How does she keep getting out? Lily asks, crouching to let Beatrice inspect her shoelaces. She's like a feathered Houdini. I grab poster board from my supplies. Should we start with signs? Bright colors, maybe some glitter? Yes, and little drawings around the borders. Lily settles cross-legged on the porch. What kind of art are we doing at the picnic? I was thinking friendship bracelets, painted rocks, collaborative projects, things that help people connect. I sit beside her, uncapping a purple marker. Lily's expression grows thoughtful as she sketches tiny flowers. That sounds really nice. At my old school, most art stuff was competitions, like who could draw the best picture. That doesn't sound very fun. It wasn't, especially when you're new. Her voice gets quieter. My art partner ignored me the whole time, did everything herself, then told everyone I didn't help. My heart squeezes. That must have felt awful. It did. It made me not want to do art in front of other people anymore. She looks up with vulnerable, hopeful eyes. But this feels different, safe. Beatrice chooses that moment to hop onto the porch and investigate our supplies. One determined peck sends a glitter jar tumbling, scattering silver sparkles everywhere. Oh no! Lily jumps up, but I'm already laughing. It's fine. Beatrice just improved our workspace. Everything looks more magical now. Lily giggles. She really is a good supervisor. Very hands-on management style. You know what? This gives me an idea for the picnic. What if we do feeling illustrations? Kids could draw pictures that show how emotions look to them. Like what? Well, you told me about feeling left out. If you drew that feeling, what would it look like? Lily considers seriously. Maybe a little person standing outside a circle with gray clouds overhead? Perfect. And friendship? Maybe two people sharing an umbrella? Or puzzle pieces that fit together? Her face lights up. You're brilliant at this. Actually, you're helping me with my work project too. I'm illustrating a book about friendship and I've been stuck on showing emotions visually. Really? Can I see it? We move to my easel where the half-painted butterfly hovers over forest creatures. Lily studies it with serious attention. It's beautiful. The fox looks lonely but hopeful too, like he's waiting for something good. That's exactly what I was going for. Sometimes it helps to have another artist's opinion. You think I'm a real artist? The realest kind. Artists help each other see things differently, and you just did that for me. Beatrice hops onto my paint table and surveys our work, giving an approving cluck. See? I tell Lily, even Beatrice thinks you're brilliant. I'm putting the finishing touches on our third picnic sign when I hear footsteps on the gravel path. Dean appears around the corner of the house, still wearing his work clothes. Khakis and a button-down shirt that somehow makes him look both professional and approachable. There's a clipboard tucked under his arm and a slightly tired expression on his face. Dad! Lily jumps up, scattering markers. Look what we made. She holds up the sign we just finished. It's bright blue with Feelings Art Station written in rainbow letters, surrounded by her careful flower drawings and what I'm pretty sure are Beatrice's artistic contributions in the form of small paint smudges. Very impressive, Dean says, and I can hear genuine warmth in his voice when he talks to Lily. You've been busy. Felicity asked me to be her official assistant for the Labor Day picnic. Lily practically bounces with excitement. We're going to help kids draw their feelings, and Beatrice is going to supervise everything. Dean glances at Beatrice, who has claimed the porch railing as her observation post and is watching the proceedings with regal authority. Naturally. How was your day? I ask, wiping paint from my hands on a rag. Lily mentioned you were doing safety inspections. Highland Hollow Pumpkin Patch, he says, shifting his clipboard. Meeting all the local business owners. Dylan and Sienna seem like good people. They are. Dylan's a bit serious, but Sienna's lovely. She planned their whole Harvest Festival expansion last year. I reach for the stack of flyers Hazel dropped off earlier. Speaking of which, you should take one of these. Information about the Labor Day picnic. I hold out a bright yellow flyer and Dean reaches for it at the same time. Our fingers brush as he takes it. It's just for a moment, barely a whisper of contact, but something electric shoots up my arm. His eyes meet mine, and for a heartbeat, the world gets very quiet. Even Beatrice stops her supervisory clucking. Thank you, Dean says, his voice slightly rougher than usual. He doesn't immediately pull his hand away, and neither do I. You're welcome, I manage, acutely aware of the warmth of his fingers and the way he's looking at me like he's seeing something he didn't expect. Dad. Lily's voice breaks the spell. Are you okay? You look kind of funny. Dean clears his throat and steps back, the professional mask sliding back into place. I'm fine. Tired from work. You always look tired, Lily observes with the brutal honesty of children. Felicity, doesn't he look like he needs more fun in his life? Lily, Dean warns, but there's no real heat in it. I study his face, taking in the tension around his eyes and the way he holds himself like he's braced for bad news. You two have a rather magnificent sulky face, I say lightly. Very brooding and mysterious. I bet it's great for intimidating people during safety inspections. Surprise flickers in Dean's expression. Sulky? In the best possible way. Very tortured hero from a romance novel. I grin at him. I'm sure it's very effective for maintaining professional authority. Lily giggles. She's right, Dad. You do look like the grumpy guys in the movies Mom used to watch. Dean's expression shifts at the mention of his late wife, but instead of shutting down completely, he just shakes his head. Great. My 9-year-old and the neighbor think I'm sulky. Could be worse, I point out. We could think you're boring. Are we sure I'm not? The question slips out before he can stop it, and I catch a glimpse of something vulnerable beneath the careful reserve, like maybe he's forgotten what it feels like to be anything other than careful and responsible. Dad, you're definitely not boring, Lily says firmly. Remember when you taught me to skip stones at the lake? And you know all those stories about fire safety that are actually kind of funny? Those are OSHA violations, not comedy material, Dean protests, but I can see him fighting a smile. See? I gesture toward his face. There it is. Proof that under all that professional sulkiness, there's someone who knows how to have fun. I'm not sulky, he mutters, but the almost smile is still there. Of course not. My mistake. I fold my arms, grinning. Brooding. Definitely brooding. This time he does smile, and it transforms his entire face. Suddenly, I can see exactly what his wife must have fallen in love with, and my heart does something complicated in my chest. I should let you get back to your signs, he says, tucking the flyer into his clipboard. Come on, Lily. We should start thinking about dinner. Can I finish this one first? Please. Lily holds up a half-painted poster. Beatrice hasn't approved it yet. Dean glances at Beatrice, who is indeed studying Lily's work with the concentration of an art critic. 5 more minutes. Then we need to head home. As he turns to go, I call after him. Dean? He pauses, looking back over his shoulder. For what it's worth, I think Juniper Falls is lucky to have someone so thorough looking out for their safety, even if you do look intimidatingly professional while doing it. Something warm flickers in hazel eyes. Thank you. After he disappears around the corner, I catch myself touching the fingers that brushed his, still feeling that unexpected spark. Beatrice gives me a knowing look and clucks once, as if to say, about time you notice.
Chapter 4. Dean. The Labor Day picnic is exactly the kind of event I used to avoid. Too many people, too much noise, too many opportunities for things to go wrong. But Lily is the official assistant coordinator for Felicity's art station, which means there's no getting out of this one. So here I am, making my way across the town square with a knot in my stomach, heading toward the pavilion where Lily has been helping Felicity set up for the past hour. I follow the sound of laughter and spot them easily. The bright balloons and colorful displays are hard to miss. Lily waves enthusiastically when she sees me approaching, clearly proud of everything they've accomplished. Crowds have never been my favorite thing, but since Amy died, they've become almost unbearable. Too much chaos, too many variables I can't control, too many reminders of how quickly everything can change. But when I see Felicity with my daughter, and despite everything, I feel some of the tension in my shoulders ease. She's wearing a sundress the color of sunflowers, her curly hair escaping from a messy bun secured with what appears to be a paintbrush. There are already paint smudges on her arms and a streak of blue across her cheek, and she's directing the organized chaos of her art station with the kind of joyful energy that makes everyone around her smile. Dad, Lily calls out as I get closer. Look what we set up. The station is impressive. Multiple tables are covered with supplies. Colorful signs explain different activities. And there's a small bubble machine waiting to be plugged in. Very professional, I tell her, and her grin widens. Okay, everyone, gather around. Felicity calls to the group of kids that has started to assemble. We're going to start with feeling pictures. Think about a time when you felt really happy, and we're going to draw what that happiness looks like. I recognize several of the children from around town. The Clyde twins, little Charlie from the library, and a few kids I've seen at the elementary school during my safety inspection last month. They're all different ages, from maybe 6 to 12, but they're all listening to Felicity with the kind of rapt attention usually reserved for ice cream trucks. Everyone, this is my assistant coordinator, Lily, Felicity announces. She helped me plan all our activities. I watch Lily's face light up with pride as the other kids greet her with friendly hellos. One of the Clyde twins, Sophie, I think, immediately starts asking Lily about the different stations. And within minutes, they're chattering like old friends. When was the last time I saw Lily fit in somewhere so easily? Hi, Mr. Grant. I looked down to find Charlie, Andrew Carter's son from the bookstore, tugging on my shirt. He's got paint on his nose and a gap-toothed grin that reminds me painfully of Lily at that age. Hello, Charlie. The art station looks great. Miss Felicity and Lily showed us how to paint feelings, and I'm going to make sadness look like a rainy cloud, but then add a rainbow because sadness doesn't last forever. He grins up at me. Want to try? Miss Felicity says grown-ups need to draw their feelings too sometimes. Before I can answer, there's a mechanical whirring sound, followed by a disappointed "oh no" from Felicity's direction. What's wrong? Lily asks, appearing at Felicity's elbow. The bubble machine died, Felicity says, frowning at the small device. It was supposed to be our grand finale, painting with bubbles while they float around us. Very magical and whimsical. Can you fix it? One of the kids asks. Felicity turns the machine over in her hands, looking lost. I'm better with paintbrushes than electronics, I'm afraid. I find myself walking over before I can think better of it. May I? She looks up at me with surprise and something that might be relief. You don't mind? I know you're probably trying to enjoy the picnic. It's fine. I take the bubble machine and immediately spot the problem. You just need a power source. This cord isn't long enough to reach the outlet. Oh. She bites her lip, looking around the pavilion. I didn't think about extension cords. Amateur mistake. I saw some in the maintenance shed by the parking lot. I could grab one. Really? You'd do that? Her smile is so bright, it makes something warm unfurl in my chest. That would be amazing. Thank you. It takes me less than 5 minutes to retrieve an extension cord and get the bubble machine running. The kids cheer when the first bubbles start floating across the pavilion, and Felicity claps her hands like I've just performed magic. You're a lifesaver, she says, touching my arm briefly. Seriously, you just saved the day. It was just an extension cord. It was problem-solving under pressure. Very heroic. She grins at me. Plus, look at them. I follow her gaze to where the kids are now painting, while bubbles drift around them like tiny, iridescent planets. Lily is working on a collaborative mural with Sophie Hayes and 2 other girls, all of them giggling as they try to pop bubbles with their paintbrushes. She's making friends, I observe, something tight in my chest loosening at the sight. She's wonderful with other kids. Natural artist, natural collaborator. Felicity watches Lily help a younger boy mix colors on his palette. She's going to do great at school here. I hope so. The words come out quieter than I intended. She's had a hard time fitting in at other places. Well, she fits here. Felicity's voice is gentle, understanding. Sometimes it just takes finding the right place. We stand there for a moment, watching the controlled chaos of kids and art and floating bubbles. Despite the noise in the crowd, I feel more relaxed than I have in months. Maybe it's watching Lily laugh with genuine joy. Maybe it's the way Felicity somehow makes everything feel manageable, even when it's completely chaotic. Dad, Lily calls, waving a paintbrush in my direction. Come see what we made. You should go, Felicity says softly. She wants to show off for you. And for the first time in a long time, I don't hesitate. I walk over to where my daughter is standing with her new friends, ready to admire whatever beautiful mess they've created together. A few hours later, I'm helping Felicity and Lily pack up the art station. It's not something I planned to do, but somehow I ended up folding tables while Lily carefully wraps the kids' artwork. That was amazing, Lily says for the 5th time, practically glowing. Did you see how many kids wanted to try the art project? You were an excellent assistant coordinator, Felicity tells her, tucking supplies into a canvas bag. Very professional. Dad, did you have fun? You didn't look grumpy the whole time. I wasn't grumpy, I protest. He looked almost relaxed, Felicity agrees, grinning. Very unsulky. Before I can respond, There's an indignant squawk from the pavilion's edge. We turn to see Beatrice strutting across the grass, with two other hens trailing behind her. "Oh, for crying out loud," Felicity mutters. "Not again." "How did they get out this time?" Lily asks, moving to intercept the escapees. "I have no idea. Beatrice has turned into an escape artist, and now she's teaching the others." Felicity throws her hands up. "Yesterday, I found all four of them in Mrs. Patterson's tomato plants. I think they're planning a full-scale prison break." I watch Lily corral two hens while Beatrice leads her on a chase around a picnic table. "Maybe there's a problem with the coop," I hear myself say. "I could take a look at it." Felicity stops mid-chase, turning to look at me with surprise. "You would do that?" When was the last time I offered to help someone without being asked? I'm handy with basic repairs. Might just be a loose latch or gap in the fencing. That would be really wonderful, actually. I'm much better with paintbrushes than power tools. I could stop by sometime this week. Really? You don't mind? There's genuine gratitude in her voice, mixed with wonder, like the idea of someone volunteering to help is unusual for her. I don't mind. Her smile is radiant, transforming her whole face. Thank you. You're saving me from a neighborhood chicken invasion. Mrs. Patterson was very polite about finding them in her garden, but I could tell she was not pleased. Dad's really good at fixing things, Lily adds, having captured Beatrice. He fixed my bike chain last week, and the wobbly table leg, and that weird dishwasher noise. A man of many talents, Felicity says warmly. Just basic maintenance stuff, I mutter. Basic maintenance is how civilization stays functional. Very important work. Beatrice escapes from Lily's arms and makes a beeline for the paint supplies. Felicity intercepts her with practiced ease. "Come on, you escape artist," she says, scooping up the hen. "Time to go home and plot your next adventure." "I can help you get them back to the coop," I offer. "Thanks, but I've got it down to a science. Besides, you've done enough for one day." She adjusts her grip on Beatrice. "But seriously, thank you. For the extension cord, for helping pack up, for offering to look at the coop. You didn't have to do any of that." "I wanted to," I say, and realize it's true. That seems to surprise her as much as it surprises me. We look at each other for a moment, something unspoken passing between us. "Well," Felicity says finally, her cheeks slightly pink, "I should get these troublemakers home. And I should get Lily dinner." I turn to my daughter. "Ready to go?" "Can I help Felicity get the chickens back first?" "If it's okay with Felicity." The more the merrier. Chicken wrangling is always a team sport. As we walk toward Felicity's house, I find myself thinking about broken coop latches, and the way Felicity's smile makes everything seem brighter. Maybe helping out a neighbor isn't such a complicated thing after all.
Chapter 5. Felicity. The knock on my door comes at precisely 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning, which tells me everything I need to know about Dean Grant's approach to punctuality. Through the window, I can see him standing on my porch with a toolbox and a various expression. I set down my coffee and the fox illustration I've been staring at for 20 minutes, a stubborn scene where my lonely fox finally makes a friend, and hurry to answer the door. "Right on time," I say, opening the screen door with a smile. "Very impressive." "I said I'd look at the coop," Dean replies, as if showing up exactly when promised is natural rather than miraculous. He's wearing jeans and a flannel shirt with rolled sleeves, and there's something about seeing him in work clothes that makes my stomach flutter. "Beatrice has been on her best behavior since the picnic," I tell him. "I think she's lulling me into false security before her next escape. Smart strategy." "Is that almost a smile? Should we take a look?" I lead him to the backyard where the chicken coop sits in robin's egg blue glory. The morning glories along the back corner have grown thick over the summer, creating a curtain of purple flowers that almost hides the fence. Beatrice appears from behind the garden shed and hops onto a nearby flower pot, settling in with the air of someone supervising an important operation. There's your quality control manager, I observe. Dean glances at Beatrice, who tilts her head and fixes him with one bright eye. She looks skeptical. She has very high standards. He begins a methodical inspection, checking latches, examining wire mesh, testing hinges. I watch him work, noting the patience in his movements. The front looks solid, he says. Let me check the back. He disappears behind the morning glories, and I hear rustling leaves and the occasional quiet, Found it, he calls. I hurry around to join him. Dean is crouched in the corner, pointing to a board pulled away from the frame just enough to create a Beatrice-sized gap. How did you spot that? I've walked past this corner a dozen times. Sometimes you have to look at things from a different angle. The morning glories hide it perfectly from outside, but from inside the coop it would be obvious to a curious chicken. Beatrice, you devious genius, I mutter. From her flower pot perch, Beatrice gives a pleased cluck. I can fix this, just need to reinforce the board. Should take 20 minutes. Can I get you anything? Coffee? Water? I'm fine, thanks, but watching him work, something occurs to me. Actually, it's going to be a hot day. Let me make lemonade. Consider it payment for chicken repair services. This time I definitely see him almost smile. That's not necessary. Maybe not necessary, but definitely appreciated. I head inside to squeeze lemons, humming as I work. Through the window, I can see Dean methodically fixing my escape route, Beatrice watching with critical attention. When I return with a pitcher and glasses, Dean is testing his work by pressing against the board. That should hold, he says, wiping his hands. Even if Beatrice recruits help. You're a lifesaver. I pour lemonade, noting how he accepts his glass with quiet thanks. We settle into porch chairs under the oak tree, and it's quiet except for Beatrice pecking around the newly secure coop. This is nice, Dean says, sounding almost surprised. The lemonade? He gestures at the garden, the chickens, the dappled sunlight. All of it. It's peaceful. I love it here. It's exactly what I needed when I moved to Juniper Falls. I curl my legs under me. What about you? Are you and Lily settling in okay? Getting there. Lily seems happier here than she's been in a while. She's a special kid, so creative and thoughtful. She gets that from her mother. The words come out soft, wistful. Your late wife sounds like she was wonderful. She was. Dean's quiet for a moment. What about you? What brought you to Juniper Falls? I hesitate. How do I explain the ex-fiancé who told me I was too much? I needed a fresh start, I say finally. Somewhere I could be myself without apology. Something in my tone must give me away because Dean's expression grows more attentive. And before here? Charlotte. I was engaged, actually. Past tense being operative. I laugh shakily. Turns out some people find authentic enthusiasm overwhelming. His loss, Dean says quietly, and the simple certainty makes my chest feel warm. That's what I keep telling myself. I drain my glass, suddenly restless. Want to see something? My studio where I work on the book illustrations, I could use another artist's opinion. Dean follows me inside to what used to be the sun porch but is now my creative sanctuary. Easels and canvases line the walls, my current projects spread across a large table. Wow, Dean says, stopping in the doorway. This is incredible. It's a mess, I protest. It's not a mess. He moves closer to examine the illustrations. These are beautiful, Felicity. Really beautiful. Thank you. I point to the troublesome illustration. This one's driving me crazy, though. It's supposed to be the moment when the fox realizes he's not alone anymore, but I can't get the emotion right. Dean studies the painting with serious attention. What if you showed it in his posture? Instead of having him looking directly at the other animals, what if he's sitting taller, more confident? I grab a pencil and sketch quickly. That's brilliant. It's not about what he sees, it's about how he feels about himself. Exactly. We spend the next hour going through illustrations, Dean asking thoughtful questions and offering insights that help me see my work from new angles. You're really talented, he says. These kids are going to love this book. I hope so. Deadline's next week. I glance at my calendar with its alarming red X's. You'll make it. These are too good not to finish. When I look up at him, I'm struck by how different he seems here, surrounded by colors and creativity. The careful distance has softened into something warmer. Thank you, I say, for the coupe repair, for the artistic consultation, for being here. Thank you for the lemonade, and for letting me see your work. We're standing closer than I realized, close enough to see the gold flecks in his hazel eyes, close enough to notice he smells like cedar and something clean that makes me want to step closer. Felicity, he says, his voice rougher than usual. Yes? But whatever he was going to say is interrupted by an indignant squawk from outside, followed by what sounds like Beatrice arguing with another hen. The spell breaks and Dean steps back, the careful mask sliding into place. I should probably get going. Let you get back to work. 2 hours later, I'm finally making progress on the fox illustration when the first rumble of thunder makes me look up from my easel. Through the studio windows, I can see dark clouds gathering over the mountains, moving fast across the afternoon sky. Another rumble, closer this time, and I suddenly remember my herb garden. The basil and cilantro I planted last month won't survive a downpour without protection. I'm halfway across the yard, arms full of plant covers and stakes, when the first fat raindrops start to fall. Of course, because that's exactly how my afternoon was supposed to go. Need help? I spin around to find Dean jogging across from his yard. His hair is already damp from the increasing rain, and there's something almost boyish about the way he's hurrying to beat the weather. You don't have to, I start, but he's already taking half the covers from my arms. Which ones need protecting? The herbs, mostly. And maybe the tomatoes if this gets really bad. We work quickly, draping covers and securing them with stakes while the storm builds overhead. The rain starts coming down harder, and I'm laughing as I try to keep the wind from stealing my carefully placed fabric. This one's not cooperating, I call over the sound of rain on leaves, wrestling with a particularly stubborn plant cover. Dean appears at my elbow. Here, let me. His hands cover mine on the fabric, steadying it while I drive in the stake. We're both soaked now, my hair escaping its bun in wet curls and his flannel shirt clinging to his shoulders. There's something exhilarating about it. The storm, the urgency, the way we're working together like we've done this 100 times before. That should do it, he says, but neither of us moves. We're standing close, breathless from our race against the rain, and the covered herb garden spreads out around us like small fabric tents. A flash of lightning illuminates the sky, followed immediately by a crack of thunder that makes us both look up. The rain is coming down in earnest now, turning the earth to mud and sending us running for the shelter of my porch. We collapse into the wicker chairs, both of us breathing hard and dripping wet. I push soaked curls out of my face and look over at Dean, who's trying to wring water from his shirt sleeves. Well, I say, still catching my breath. That was dramatic. He looks up at me, and something about the way the stormlight catches his features, or maybe the adrenaline of our sprint through the rain, makes my heart skip. His hair is dark with water, and there are droplets clinging to his eyelashes. Thank you, I say more softly. For helping? You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. His voice is rough, different somehow. I keep wanting to help you. The admission hangs between us, honest and unguarded. The rain drums against the porch roof, creating a cocoon of sound that makes the rest of the world feel very far away. Dean, I say, not sure what I'm asking, but he's already moving closer, his eyes never leaving mine. When he reaches up to brush a wet curl from my cheek, his touch is gentle, almost reverent. I shouldn't want this, he murmurs, but his thumb traces my cheekbone like he's memorizing the shape of it. Why not? Instead of answering, he kisses me. It's tentative at first, a question more than a statement, but when I lean into him, when I let my hands find the solid warmth of his chest, something shifts. He deepens the kiss, and suddenly we're not two careful neighbors anymore. We're just Dean and Felicity, rain-soaked and breathless, and discovering that sometimes the best things happen when you stop thinking so much. He tastes like summer storms and possibility, and when his arms come around me, pulling me closer, I feel like I could melt right into this moment and never find my way back. A particularly loud crash of thunder makes me laugh against his mouth, giddy with rain and romance and the sheer unexpectedness of it all. But the sound seems to break something in Dean. He goes still, then pulls back abruptly, his expression shifting from tender to stricken. I can't, he says, the words rough and pained. I can't do this. Dean? I reach for him, confused by the sudden change. What's wrong? He stands up, putting physical distance between us, and runs both hands through his wet hair. This was a mistake. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. Shouldn't have what? Kissed me? Hurt creeps into my voice despite my efforts to keep it out, because from where I was sitting, that felt pretty right. He won't look at me, staring out at the rain instead. I can't be what you need. I can't be what anyone needs. That's not your decision to make. He's backing toward the porch steps, every line of his body screaming retreat. I'm sorry, Felicity. I really am. But this can't happen again. He disappears into the rain, leaving me alone on the porch with the taste of him still on my lips and absolutely no idea what just went wrong. I sit there long after the storm passes, watching the water drip from the eaves and trying to understand how a kiss that felt like coming home could end with someone running away.
Chapter 6. Dean, I've been avoiding my kitchen window for 3 days. It's ridiculous, really. I'm a grown man hiding in my own house because I can't handle the sight of my neighbor's garden. But every time I catch a glimpse of Felicity's colorful yard, I'm right back on that porch with rain in my hair and her laugh echoing in my ears, just like Amy's used to. The memory hits me the same way it has every time I've tried to sleep since Wednesday. Amy at 25, caught in a sudden downpour outside our apartment building. The way she threw her head back and laughed at the sky, arms spread wide like she was embracing the storm. The way I kissed her for the first time right there on the sidewalk, both of us soaked and breathless and completely lost in each other. Kissing Felicity felt exactly the same. And that's the problem. Dad. Lily's voice pulls me back to the present. She's standing in the kitchen doorway wearing yesterday's paint, splattered t-shirt, and a frown. Are you okay? You look weird. I'm fine. I turn away from the window, focusing on the coffee mug in my hands. Just tired. You've been tired a lot lately. She comes to stand beside me, following my gaze to the window. How come Felicity hasn't been over? Did you guys have a fight or something? No fight. The lie comes easily, even though my chest tightens with guilt. She's just busy with her book deadline. Oh. Lily's quiet for a moment, then adds, I miss her. We were supposed to work on my feelings illustrations this week, but I didn't want to bother her if she's really busy. The disappointment in her voice makes something twist in my stomach. When was the last time I saw Lily this subdued? She's been asking about Felicity every day since the storm, and every day I've given her some variation of the same non-answer. Maybe next week, I say weakly. Maybe. But Lily doesn't sound convinced. She pulls a box of cereal from the cabinet with less enthusiasm than usual. Dad, do you think Felicity likes us? Like, really likes us? The question catches me off guard. Of course she likes you. Why would you ask that? I don't know. It's just... Lily pours cereal into her bowl, avoiding my eyes. Sometimes when people like us at first, they change their minds later. When they figure out we're sad sometimes, or when they realize Mom's not coming back. My heart clenches. Lily, it's okay, she says quickly. I get it. Being around sad people isn't very fun, but I thought maybe Felicity was different. She seemed like she actually wanted to be our friend. I set down my coffee mug before I drop it. How do I explain to my 9-year-old daughter that Felicity isn't the problem? That I'm the one who ran away because I felt something I wasn't ready to feel? Felicity does want to be your friend, I say carefully. This has nothing to do with you or with Mom or with us being sad sometimes. Then why does it feel like she's avoiding us? Because I kissed her and then told her it was a mistake. Because I panicked when she laughed in the rain and reminded me what it felt like to be happy. Because I'm a coward who would rather hurt someone than risk losing them. It's complicated, I say instead. Lily gives me a look that's far too knowing for someone her age. Grown-up complicated or actually complicated, despite everything, I almost smile at that. What's the difference? Grown-up complicated means you're making it harder than it needs to be. Actually complicated means there's no good answer out of the mouths of babes. Probably a little of both. Lily takes a bite of cereal, considering this. Well, whatever kind of complicated it is, I hope you figure it out soon. I really miss talking to her about art stuff. And I think Beatrice misses us too. She's not wrong. I've noticed Beatrice spending more time near the fence line between our yards, occasionally letting out what I can only describe as mournful clucks in our direction. Even the chickens think I'm being an idiot. Speaking of figuring things out, I say, desperate to change the subject, we should probably talk about your birthday. It's next weekend. Lily's face brightens slightly. Are we doing anything special? Grandma and Grandpa Grant are coming to visit. They want to see the new house and spend time with you. Really? Now she looks genuinely excited. I haven't seen them since Christmas. They're looking forward to it too. We could have a party if you want. Invite some of your new friends from the art station. Could I invite Felicity? The question comes out in a rush, hopeful and uncertain. I know you said she's busy, but maybe for a birthday party. I should say no. I should make up another excuse about deadlines and work schedules. But looking at my daughter's face, seeing how much this means to her, I can't bring myself to disappoint her again. We'll see, I say, which we both know is parent code for probably not, but I don't want to say no right now. Lily nods, but I can see the resignation in her eyes. She's getting used to "we'll see" when it comes to Felicity, and that realization makes me feel like the worst kind of father. After she finishes breakfast and heads upstairs to get dressed, I find myself back at the kitchen window. Felicity's in her garden, wearing a yellow sundress and wide-brimmed hat, tending to the plants we covered during the storm. She moves with the same graceful efficiency I remember, pausing occasionally to talk to Beatrice, who's following her around like a feathered shadow. She looks happy, content, like she's already moved on from whatever happened between us on Wednesday. The thought should make me feel better. Instead, it makes my chest feel hollow. My phone buzzes with a text from my mother. Can't wait to see you both next weekend. Hope Lily's settling in well. Any special friends we should know about? I stare at the message, thinking about how to answer. Do I mention Felicity? Do I try to explain that Lily has gotten attached to our neighbor, but I've managed to mess that up too? I type back, she's doing great. Made some good friends. Looking forward to seeing you. It's not exactly a lie, but it's not the whole truth either. Just like everything else I've been telling myself since Wednesday. Through the window, I watch Felicity laugh at something Beatrice is doing, the sound carrying faintly across the yard. It's the same laugh that sent me running 3 days ago, but now it just makes me feel empty. Lily was right about one thing. I am making this more complicated than it needs to be. I just don't know how to make it simple again. Dean, sweetie, the house looks wonderful. My mother sets down her purse and surveys Aunt Margaret's living room with the critical eye of someone who's raised 5 children and managed a household for 40 years. Very cozy. Thanks, Mom. I give her a hug, noting how she's already mentally rearranging the furniture. How was the drive? Not too bad. Your father only got lost twice. She pats my cheek with the kind of maternal affection that always makes me feel 12 years old again. You look thin. Are you eating enough? I'm eating fine. Grandma, Grandpa. Lily thunders down the stairs and launches herself into my father's arms. He catches her easily, spinning her around until she's giggling. There's our birthday girl, Dad says, setting her down and ruffling her hair. Double digits tomorrow. That's a big deal. I know. Dad's making my favorite cake, and we might have a party with my new friends. Lily bounces on her toes. Want to see my room? I have my own art space now. In a minute, sweetheart. Mom smooths Lily's hair back into place. Let us get settled first. I help carry their bags upstairs while Lily chatters about school starting next week and all the kids she met at the Labor Day picnic. Mom makes appropriate listening noises, but I can tell she's still in assessment mode, cataloging everything from the squeaky third step to the way Lily's hair needs trimming. The neighborhood seems quiet, she observes as we head back downstairs. Very rustic. Through the front window, we can see directly into Felicity's yard with its riot of colors and the robin's egg blue chicken coop. As if on cue, Beatrice appears from behind a sunflower, stalking across the grass with her usual dignified swagger. Oh my, Mom says, pausing at the window. Are those chickens? Interesting. Mom's tone suggests she finds it anything but. I hope they don't make too much noise. Actually, they're pretty quiet. Lily enjoys watching them. Does she now? Mom turns to study my daughter, who's arranging her art supplies on the coffee table to show her grandparents. And what about this neighbor? Are they appropriate? There's something in her voice that puts me on edge. What do you mean? Well, sweetie, you know how impressionable Lily is right now. After everything she's been through, she needs stability, structure, not someone filling her head with whimsical ideas. Mom, there's a warning in my voice that she chooses to ignore. I'm just saying, chickens in the backyard doesn't exactly scream responsible adult. She adjusts the curtain slightly, as if Felicity's garden might be less visible from a different angle. What does this neighbor do for work? She's a children's book illustrator and an art teacher. Oh, Mom's expression suggests this information doesn't improve her opinion. Well, I suppose that explains the creative decorating choices. Before I can respond, Dad calls from the living room. Dean, come tell us about this new job of yours. Safety inspector sounds important. I'm grateful for the interruption, but as we settle into conversation about work schedules and Lily's school plans, I can't shake the feeling that Mom is still cataloging everything she considers problematic about our new life. The feeling only gets stronger an hour later when Lily asks if she can play in the backyard. Of course, I tell her. Just stay where I can see you. Can I say hi to Beatrice if she comes over to the fence? Sure. Mom waits until Lily's outside before turning to me with a concerned expression. Dean, honey, I know you're trying to give Lily a good life here, but don't you think she's getting a little too attached? The chickens aren't hurting anything. It's not about the chickens. It's about the woman who owns them. Mom lowers her voice, even though we're alone. Lily mentioned her quite a bit. This Felicity person seems to have made quite an impression. She's been kind to Lily. They both enjoy art. I am sure she's perfectly nice, but Bean... Mom reaches over and pats my hand. After Amy, you and Lily both need stability. You need people in your lives who understand responsibility, who can provide the kind of steady influence a child needs. Someone who keeps chickens and paints their fence blue isn't exactly screaming, reliable adult figure. I open my mouth to defend Felicity, but the words stick in my throat. Because isn't that exactly what I've been telling myself? That she's too chaotic, too unpredictable, too much of a risk? All I'm saying is be careful, Mom continues. People like that, they're fine for a little fun, but they're not the kind you build a life around. Lily's been through enough upheaval. She needs people who will stick around, not someone who might decide the responsibility is too much and move on to the next adventure. Felicity's not like that, I say, but my voice lacks conviction. Maybe not. But sweetie, you can't be too careful when it comes to Lily's emotional well-being. She's already lost one important woman in her life. You don't want her getting attached to someone who might not be here for the long haul. Before I can respond, there's a soft knock at the front door. Through the screen, I see a flash of yellow fabric and curly hair. Felicity. I'll get it, I say quickly, but Mom's already moving toward the door. Oh. Felicity's voice carries through the screen, bright and slightly nervous. Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to drop off a little birthday present for Lily. She's holding a wrapped package and wearing the kind of hopeful smile that makes my chest ache. Behind her, I can see Lily waving enthusiastically from the backyard. How thoughtful, Mom says, her voice polite but cool. You must be the neighbor with the chickens? That's me, Felicity Bloom. She offers her hand through the screen door. You must be Lily's grandmother. She's so excited you're here. Patricia Grant? Mom shakes her hand briefly. Yes, we're looking forward to spending time with our granddaughter. There's something in Mom's tone that makes Felicity's smile falter slightly. Of course, I won't keep you. I just thought... She holds up the present. It's an art kit. Nothing fancy, just some supplies she mentioned wanting to try. That's very generous, Mom says, taking the package, though I hope you understand that Lily already has quite enough to keep her busy with school starting soon. The dismissal is subtle but clear. Felicity's cheeks flush pink, and I see the exact moment she realizes she's not welcome here. Of course, she says quietly. Tell Lily happy birthday from me and the girls. She turns to go, and I finally find my voice. Felicity, wait. But Mom's hand is on my arm, and her voice cuts across mine. Dean, didn't you say you needed to start dinner preparations?
Chapter 7. Felicity. I've been staring at the same illustration for 2 hours, but all I can see is Patricia Grant's polite, dismissive smile. The fox on my easel looks wrong now. Too hopeful, too trusting. Like he actually believes he belongs when everyone can see he's just disrupting the natural order. My paintbrush hovers over the canvas, but my hand won't move. Every color feels too bright, too much. The deadline looms 3 days away, but all I can think about is Dean's silence while his mother made it clear someone like me has no place in their world. A soft knock at my front door interrupts my brooding. Hazel Elliott stands there holding a casserole dish and wearing a knowing expression. "Hello, dear," she says gently. "I thought you might like some company. And possibly some lasagna." I consider pretending I'm too busy, but I haven't spoken to another human since yesterday. Even Beatrice has been giving me worried looks. "Come in," I say, though I'm terrible company right now. Nonsense. Sometimes what feels like terrible timing is exactly when we need each other most. We settle into porch chairs, and Beatrice wanders over to inspect Hazel's shoes, apparently finding them acceptable. "I heard Dean's parents arrive for Lily's birthday," Hazel says carefully. "They did. Very nice people." Lily was excited. "And how did you find them?" The gentle question nearly undoes me. Of course she knows. This is Juniper Falls. "They think I'm too much," I say finally. "Irresponsible. A bad influence because I keep chickens and paint my fence blue." "And Dean? What did he say?" "That's what hurts most. Nothing. He said nothing." Hazel nods like this confirms something. Ah. "It's fine. They're right to be cautious. Lily needs stability, and I'm not exactly conventionally reliable." "Says who?" Hazel leans forward. "Who decided unconventional means unreliable? From where I sit, you've been nothing but kind and dependable since arriving. You've welcomed a lonely child, helped her find confidence, shown up every time she needed you." "But I'm still too much." That's what my ex-fiancé used to say. "Can't you just tone it down, Felicity? Do you have to be so intense about everything?" Hazel's expression sharpens. "Ah, now we're getting to the heart of it. 3 weeks before our wedding, he told me I was exhausting, that he loved me, but couldn't I just be a little less me?" I laugh bitterly. So I tried. I toned down the colors, stopped talking about art, even considered getting rid of my plants because he said they made the apartment chaotic. And how did that feel? Like drowning, like slowly disappearing until there was nothing left worth loving. "So you called off the wedding?" "Best decision I ever made. I came here to be myself again, to live out loud and not apologize. I gesture at my paint-splattered apron, my wild garden. This is who I am. If that's too much for some people, they're not my people. Even if one of those people is Dean Grant?" The question hits like a blow, because for a moment during the storm when he kissed me, I thought maybe Dean was different. "Especially if it's Dean," I say quietly. "I won't shrink myself again. Not for anyone." Hazel squeezes my hand. "Good. The world has enough diminished women. We need the bright ones, the loud ones, the ones who refuse to apologize for taking up space. Even if it means being alone?" "Being alone is infinitely better than being with someone who requires you to be less than you are." She stands, smoothing her skirt. "Besides, you're not alone. You have friends here who see your worth exactly as you are." After she leaves, I sit watching Beatrice lead the other hens in what appears to be a serious discussion about bug hunting strategies. My deadline looms, my heart aches, and I'm pretty sure I just lost the first man I've cared about since my engagement ended. Dean stands on my front porch the next morning looking like he hasn't slept, his hair rumpled and shadows under his eyes. Even through the screen door I can see the careful way he's holding himself, like someone who's spent all night rehearsing what he's about to say. Felicity. His voice is rough. I'm sorry to bother you so early, but I needed to apologize. For yesterday, for my mother, and for not saying what I should have said. Dean. I keep my voice soft, stepping back to put the screen door between us. You don't need to apologize. Your mother was being protective of Lily. I understand. No, you don't understand. She was wrong, and I should have. Should have what? Argued with your mother in front of Lily on her birthday weekend? I shake my head. You did the right thing. Family comes first. That's not what I meant. It's okay. Really. I get it. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. I'd rather know where I stand. Something desperate flickers across his features. Felicity, please. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain. I force a smile. Your mother is right to be cautious. Lily needs consistency, stability. People who color inside the lines. What if I don't want you to change? My heart does something painful, but I don't let it show. It doesn't matter what you want, Dean. It matters what Lily needs, and what she needs is a father who puts her first, which is exactly what you're doing. By pushing away someone who makes her happy? By protecting her from getting too attached to someone who might not stick around. The words come out harder than intended. I know how this works. I'm the fun neighbor, the temporary bright spot. But when it comes to important stuff, schools and stability, people like me don't make the cut. People like you? Dean's voice sharpens. You know what it means. I step back, hand moving to the door handle. I should let you get back to your family. Felicity, wait. But I'm already closing the door as gently as I can manage. Through the window, I watch Dean stand on my porch for a long moment before walking away. I spend the rest of the day forcing myself to work on the fox illustration. Outside, I catch glimpses of birthday party preparations, balloons, presents, muffled voices. But even from a distance, something seems subdued about the celebration. As evening approaches, I hear soft tapping at my kitchen window. Lily stands in my backyard wearing a party dress and askew birthday hat, but her expression is anything but celebratory. I open the back door and she throws her arms around my waist. I missed you today, she says. The party wasn't the same without you. My throat tightens. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Did you have a good day? It was okay. But parties are supposed to have all your favorite people, not just some of them. Oh, Lily. Dad said you were busy with work, but you don't look busy. You look sad, too. Sometimes grown-ups make things more complicated than they need to be. That's what I told Grandma. Lily grinned suddenly. She didn't know what to say to that. Despite everything, I smile back. I bet she didn't. Lily, Dean's voice carries across the yard, worried. Lily, where are you? You should head back, I say gently. Your dad's probably worried. Will you walk me over, please? I hesitate, then nod. We cross the yard together, and I see the relief on Dean's face when he spots us. There you are, he says, scooping Lily up. You can't just disappear like that. I was saying thank you to Felicity for my birthday present, Lily says. It was the best art kit ever. Dean's eyes meet mine over Lily's head, and I see gratitude there, along with something that might be regret. You're welcome, I tell Lily. Use it well. As I walk back to my yard, I hear Lily chattering about art supplies and the importance of having all your favorite people at parties. I don't hear Dean's responses, but I hope he's listening. Because sometimes the wisest words come from 10-year-olds who haven't learned yet that love is supposed to be complicated.
Chapter 8. Dean, the house feels too quiet after my parents leave. I'm loading dishes when Lily appears in the doorway, still wearing her party dress. Dad, can I ask you something? Of course. She climbs onto a stool, swinging her legs. Do you think I'm too much? The question stops me cold. What? Grandma kept talking about how some people are too, what was the word, flighty? She said Felicity seems like the kind of person who gets bored easily. Lily's voice gets small. Is that why she doesn't come over anymore? Because spending time with us got boring? Because I'm too much work? My heart breaks a little. Lily, no. You are not too much. You're perfect exactly as you are. Then why does everyone keep leaving? The simple question hits like a punch to the gut. Who's leaving, sweetheart? Mom left, even though she didn't want to. And now Felicity. Lily looks up at me with Amy's eyes. I liked when she was here. It felt like home. And she helped me not feel so sad about the girls at school. What girls at school? The ones at the old place who said I was weird for drawing animals instead of people. Felicity said that just meant they weren't my kind of people. She said the right people would like me exactly as I am. Tears well up in Lily's eyes. But what if there aren't any right people? What if everyone thinks I'm too much? I set down the dish towel and pull her into my arms. Listen to me. You are not too much. You are bright and creative and kind, and anyone who doesn't see that is missing out. Then why did Felicity stop coming over? Because I messed up, I say quietly. Not you. Me. What did you do? How do I explain this to a 10-year-old? I got scared. After Mom died, I thought if we didn't get too close to people, it wouldn't hurt so much if we lost them. But Dad, Lily says, leaning back to look at me, Mom used to say that hiding from love doesn't protect you from sadness. It just stops you from having good things. The words sound so much like Amy, I can barely breathe. You think I'm hiding from good things? I think we both are. Felicity makes us happy, but we keep acting like that's bad. Lily looks at me earnestly. I know you're scared something bad might happen again. But Dad, bad things might happen anyway. At least if we let Felicity be our friend, we'll have good things too. When did my 10-year-old become so much smarter than me? What if she doesn't want to be our friend anymore? Then we ask her. And if she says no, at least we tried. Lily shrugs with casual bravery. But I think she misses us too. After Lily goes upstairs, I find myself at the kitchen window, looking at Felicity's yard. I can see her moving around her studio, probably working on her deadline. Or maybe trying to paint away the hurt I caused. Lily's words echo, at least if we let Felicity be our friend, we'll have good things too. When was the last time I chose something good instead of something safe? I grab my toolbox, driven by a sudden need to do something concrete. I've noticed Felicity's Porsche swing squeaking. The chains need oiling. It's not much, but it's a start. I'm halfway across her yard when Beatrice appears from behind a sunflower, fixing me with one critical eye. She clucks once, somehow conveying both skepticism and approval, then hops onto a flower pot to supervise. Yeah, I know, I mutter. I messed up. Beatrice tilts her head, then pecks experimentally at my boot, testing my commitment to making amends. The swing creaks ominously when I test it. I get to work, removing the chains and examining each connection. Beatrice maintains her supervisory position, occasionally offering editorial clucks. At one point, she hops down to peck at a loose screw, pushing it back toward me. Thanks, I tell her, and she preenies. Through the studio window, I catch glimpses of Felicity at her easel, wearing a yellow sundress that makes her look like sunshine. This is what I almost lost. The way she brings light into spaces that have been dark too long. The way she makes Lily laugh. The way she makes me feel worth knowing. Beatrice pecks my boot again, more insistently, giving me a look that says, stop watching and start doing something. You're right. Watching isn't fixing anything. I finish tightening the last bolt and test the swing. It moves smoothly now, silent and steady. As I pack up my tools, Beatrice eyes a piece of paper that's fallen from my toolbox. She pecks at it curiously, and suddenly I have an idea. I'm standing in my kitchen, holding 2 mugs of tea, when I see Felicity step onto her porch. She spots the note immediately, her movements stilling as she unfolds it. I watch through the window as she reads my words, then sinks onto the swing like her legs won't hold her anymore. This is it. Time to stop hiding. I cross the yard with measured steps, my heart hammering against my ribs. Felicity looks up when she hears me approach, the note still clutched in her hand. I was hoping you'd find that, I say, climbing the porch steps. You fixed my swing. Her voice is soft, wondering. It was squeaking. Seemed like the least I could do after. I trail off, offering her one of the mugs. I brought tea. Peace offering. She accepts it, wrapping her hands around the ceramic like she's anchoring herself. Dean, about what your mother said. My mother was wrong. The words come out firm, certain. And I should have told her that. I should have told her that you're not too much. You're exactly what we need. What if she's right, though? What if I'm too chaotic, too? Felicity. I sit beside her on the swing, close enough to see the uncertainty in her green eyes. Do you know what Lily told me today? She asked if she was too much. If that's why you stopped coming around. Pain flickers across her face. Oh no. She thinks people keep leaving because she's too much trouble. Because she's too bright, too creative, too enthusiastic about everything. My voice roughens. Sound familiar? Tears well in her eyes. I never wanted her to feel that way. Then don't let her. Don't let my fear and my mother's narrow-mindedness convince either of you that being authentic is something to apologize for. A soft cluck interrupts us. Beatrice is pecking around the base of the porch, apparently having decided this conversation meets with her approval. Your quality control manager is back, I observe. She never left. Just gave us some space to figure things out. Felicity smiles through her tears. Beatrice is very wise about these things. Speaking of figuring things out, I say, Lily starts school next week. She's terrified those girls will treat her the same way the ones at her old school did. What can we do? The word we makes something warm unfurl in my chest. Maybe you could join us to walk to school the first day? Show her she's not alone? I pause. I know it's a lot to ask after everything. It's not too much, she says, echoing my earlier words. I'd be honored. I reach over and brush a curl from her cheek, marveling at how right this feels. I'm sorry it took me so long to figure this out. I'm sorry I let my fear hurt both of you. We're here now, she says simply. That's what matters. Beatrice clucks once more, then struts off toward the garden with a satisfied air of someone whose work here is done. Think she'll let us have 5 minutes alone? I ask, my thumb tracing Felicity's cheekbone. Probably not, Felicity laughs. She takes her supervisory duties very seriously. Good, I say, leaning closer. Someone should make sure I don't mess this up again. When I kiss her this time, there's no storm, no panic, no running away. Just the two of us on a porch swing that doesn't squeak, with the afternoon sun warming our faces and the sound of chickens contentedly pecking around the garden. Feels like coming home.
Epilogue. Felicity. Juniper Falls, 10 months later. Beatrice, those cookies are not for you, I tell my feathered supervisor as she eyes the plate of snickerdoodles with obvious intent. We've discussed this. She clucks indignantly and hops onto the picnic table, fixing me with the kind of look that suggests my cookie guarding skills are severely lacking. It's a perfect June afternoon, warm but not sweltering, with a gentle breeze rustling through the oak tree's leaves. Dean said he wanted to host a small get-together to celebrate the end of Lily's first successful year at Juniper Falls Elementary, and I'm more than happy to provide the backyard and refreshments. Need any help? Hazel appears around the corner of the house carrying a pitcher of fresh lemonade and wearing one of her trademark knowing smiles. You're a lifesaver, I say, making space on the table. I wasn't sure we had enough drinks. Dean's very particular about details, she observes, arranging napkins with unnecessary precision. He wants everything to be perfect. Before I can ask what she means by that, Lily bounds into the backyard wearing a sundress and a conspiratorial grin that immediately makes me suspicious. Hi, Felicity. Beatrice. She scoops up my hen, who settles into her arms with dignified pleasure. We're going to go, look for four-leaf clovers. Over there, by the fence. Four-leaf clovers? I raise an eyebrow. Since when are you interested in four-leaf clovers? Since always, Lily says with the kind of exaggerated innocence that fools absolutely no one. Come on, Beatrice. Let's go find some luck. She disappears toward the back corner of the yard with Beatrice tucked under her arm, both of them clearly up to something. That child is becoming quite the little schemer, Hazel says fondly. Speaking of schemes, how's the planning for the river cleanup coming along? I ask, adjusting the placement of the cookie plate. I saw the flyers around town. Hazel's expression shifts to mild exasperation. Oh, that. Well, Natalie's been wonderful helping organize the logistics, but I'm still trying to find two tour guides who don't hate each other to co-lead the riverbend section. It's the trickiest part of the river. Having trouble finding volunteers? Not exactly. I ask Sky Morgan. She's that lovely kayak instructor who moved here last fall, but she's been dodging my calls. And Reed Dawson just rolled his eyes when I mentioned it and said something about entitled city transplants who think they know everything about rivers. Hazel sighs dramatically. Honestly, the stubbornness of young people these days. I grin, picturing the scenario. Maybe they'll fall in love mid-paddle. Nothing like a little river adventure to bring people together. More likely they'll push each other out of their kayaks, Hazel snorts, though I suppose stranger things have happened in this town. The sound of footsteps on the porch interrupts our conversation, and Dean appears carrying what looks suspiciously like champagne instead of the beer I was expecting. Ladies, he says, setting the bottle on the table with careful precision. Beautiful afternoon. Very beautiful, Hazel agrees, her eyes twinkling with mischief. Perfect for celebrations. Something in her tone makes me look between them suspiciously. What's going on? You're both acting weird. Weird? Dean's voice pitches slightly higher. We're not acting weird. This is just a normal, casual get-together to celebrate Lily finishing 4th grade. With champagne? Champagne is festive. Before I can interrogate him further, Lily reappears from her four-leaf clover expedition, Beatrice still tucked contentedly under her arm and both of them covered in what looks suspiciously like flower petals. Did you find any luck? I ask. Maybe, Lily says, grinning so widely I'm amazed her face doesn't split in half. Dean clears his throat and steps closer to me, his expression shifting from nervous to something softer, more determined. Actually, Felicity, I wanted to say something. Okay, I say slowly, suddenly aware that everyone is watching me with expectant faces. 10 months ago, Beatrice escaped from her coop and decided to inspect your moving truck. Dean's voice is steady, but his hands are shaking slightly. You came running after her with dirt-covered hands and apron strings flying, completely out of breath and not the least bit embarrassed about the chaos. You turned everything upside down in the best possible way. You taught Lily that being different is something to celebrate, not apologize for. You taught me that hiding from love doesn't protect you from loss, it just keeps you from living. My heart starts doing something acrobatic in my chest as Dean reaches into his pocket. You make every day brighter, every problem more manageable, every moment more joyful. He drops to one knee, pulling out a small velvet box. Felicity Bloom, will you marry us? The ring is perfect. A vintage setting with a stone that catches the afternoon light like captured sunshine. But I'm barely looking at it because I'm too busy staring at Dean's face at the love and hope and slightly terrified vulnerability written there. Yes, I whisper, then louder, yes, of course, yes. Lily cheers and tosses handfuls of flower petals into the air while Beatrice clucks her approval. Hazel applauds from her seat at the picnic table, looking thoroughly pleased with herself. Dean slides the ring onto my finger with hands that shake just enough to make me love him even more, then stands to kiss me while flower petals drift around us like confetti. I can't believe you planned all this, I laugh against his mouth. I had help, he admits, glancing at Lily, who's still throwing petals with enthusiastic abandon. The best kind of help, I agree, pulling back to look at my soon-to-be stepdaughter. What do you think, Lily? Ready to make this official? I've been ready since the day you taught me that chickens can be therapists, she says solemnly, then breaks into another grin. Plus, now Beatrice will officially be my step-chicken. Beatrice Prinez at this pronouncement, clearly approving of her elevated status in the family hierarchy. As the afternoon sun filters through the oak leaves and my friends and family celebrate around me, I can't help thinking that sometimes the best things in life come disguised as chaos, complete with escape artist chickens and grumpy widowers who turn out to have the softest hearts. Sometimes, if you're very lucky, they stay. The end. This has been Quirky Girl Next Door, written by Susanne Ash. Copyright 2025 by Susanne Ash. Production copyright 2025 by Susanne Ash. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe if you want me to put more of my books on YouTube. Visit my website at www.suzanneash.com for more of my books or find me on Amazon.